Okay, time for a letter. It's been a while, been a week or two, but as I explained in the group, I have quite a lot of business these days, many students and lessons a week, and I simply don't have the time to be making videos for you. However, this morning I do have a little time, so I'm going to have a look at a letter or two and we'll see how it goes. So now, as I said before, what do you always do? Go to the task first. That'll tell your audience and purpose. Why are you writing and who are you writing to? Let's get my pen. Okay. Miss Graham, occupational therapist. Right, so we want workplace assessment. Okay. And the usual stuff, complete sentences, avoid notes, letter format, And the usual, that's just recommendation. So you've probably seen this. This is on the OET site. Perhaps I should mention my quick disclaimer for fair use. I'll quickly put that on the screen if it's going to work. Come on. Ah, yes, there we go. I'll just put this up there. Fair use for teaching. Non-profit. Okay, just so you know. Alright, so you've probably seen this. It's on the website, it's on the official site, one of the samples. So, workplace assessment, we've got all the notes here, etc. As I've said before, if your letter is a good one, we shouldn't need to look at the notes, because everything that you need to tell us should be in your letter, so we shouldn't need it. Anyway, let's have a look at this one. We should put some changes on. Actually, this one's not bad at all. I can see it's pretty close to the sample, which we'll have a look at in a bit. So where's my cursor? That should be Mr. Barry Jones. Okay. Mr. Barry Jones, DEB, writing to request workplace assessment. Mr. Jones was a forklift driver and acquired, you can simply say injured. And injured his back at work 3 months back, 3 months ago. He's keen to return to his workplace. Now, that's basically the same as the sample, but that sample that they give you on the site, that's not necessarily an A, but it is quite good. So it's basically saying, been off work for 3 months. Now, you don't really need all this detail in the introduction. You could just say workplace assessment for Mr. Jones, a 50-something now forklift driver. Is it? No, that's 73. Is it 40-something forklift a driver who's been off work for 3 months after an injured back. You could do it like that, but you could mention the back, the injury there, and then he came to see you. I think it was 4 days afterwards. So you could do it like that if you wanted. Writing to refer Mr. Jones, a so-and-so 40-odd-year-old forklift driver, who injured his back after lifting something at work. And then you could do the history presentation. So came 4 days later, blah, 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 blah. And you could do it like that if you wanted. More than one way to write a letter. Okay, so that's good though. Okay. Mr. Jones came to see me, severe back strain, heavy box off the floor at work. Now, you don't need all this therefore and kind of hence. You don't need it. OET says if you can take it out, you should do. So, simply, he was advised to do like exercise before letter of pain medications were given. Now, additionally, he was also. So why do we have additionally and also? So you don't need these markers. You don't need them. OET, again, read their blog, say if you can take it out, you can do so. So, because let me get the criteria up. Where are we? Yeah, conciseness and clarity. So no relevant information. How well is it summarised? Now, I mentioned this before. I just mentioned it as again. So you've got purpose, content, conciseness, genre, organisation, etc. So necessary information. Okay. Conciseness. Now, no time wasted. How effectively the case is summarised. So that basically means anything that you don't need. It says anything that you can leave out, any markers, anything that you don't need. So you don't really need this additionally or furthermore. You can add it into a sentence. Have like right section given. Awesome. Yeah, I mean you could put that there into a single sentence if you wanted. You could do it like this here. It was advised, was given, and he was also. I mean, if you wanted, you could join that up with a conjunction. And it was advised, given, and he was also provided, or just do it like a separate sentence there. Now, someone was asking me a while back about if there's more than one a visit, how do you describe those? And what I said is that if they're not so important, you can join them up in a sentence. Instead of saying, because if we look at the case notes, just by way of illustration, so presentation 1, presentation 2, presentation kind of 3, 4. Okay, so he's been back, but there's not a lot of difference between these. Extended for 30 days, 50 days, walking, exercise. So what you can do, as this one has done here, is join them up during his subsequent appointments. That's pretty good. Right? So instead of doing like some people do every single visit, which you don't really need, unless those visits must be told, because the significance of them pertains to the case. However, if that's not so, great compliance, let's just say great, did great compliance with exercise recovery. He still had soreness and stiffness in his back. Rest period extended for 60 more days. Okay, well, yeah, you could do that because he came back once, extended for 30 days, came back again, extended for 30 more. Okay, so that's quite concise. You could have maybe put a little bit in about how his, range of motion has extended a bit. He was increasing his walking, painful, So you could have included a little bit more there about how his exercises, but he's increasing his walking, increasing his walking. But you could have done, but really, you don't need to put too much detail in. And I think this is why this letter's good, because you are requesting workplace assessment. So you don't need to go into too much detail about Mr. Jones himself, not as such, because the occupational therapist might not even see Mr. Jones, might not even see him. They might just go to the work, see the boss, can I have a look at this? What does he have to do? Because he hasn't gone back to work yet until you do it. So you don't need to include that much detail really, unless you really want to. As I say, chances are you, as the reader, are not going to even meet Mr. Jones. Okay, anyway, that being said, so that's good. We've joined visits up, that's good. Today's review, exhibited, or his own, you could simply say his range of motion had improved, so exhibited an improvement. However, he still has pain, stiffness in his back. Chris is walking. There's been supported. Jones' workplace. Mr. Jones' workplace. That's why it's on my duties to him. So that is pretty good. In the sample, we do say something about you're not that keen on him going back. Only, he can only go back if no lifting and regular breaks. I think it says something here. You're not, yeah. I do not believe he's ready to return, so you're not, he's not too keen, but he can if it can be arranged, blah, 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 blah. So you could maybe put in that. Okay. So if we compare this one, you've got purpose, basically same, that's good. You've got a bit of a history kind of paragraph there, kind of done the same way. Physio, not a lot of detail here because, again, the physio is not going to meet Mr. Jones. He's just going to go to the workplace. So that's probably why in this example there's not a lot of detail about how much time and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, where are we? Yeah. So, that's good. Got a driver, severe back strain, light exercise, medical certificate, okay, so 60 more days. Okay. Of the above, detailed assessment. Okay, so that isn't bad. You can see the difference between the two, though. In the sample, they have put more, well, they haven't put more emphasis, but they've taken emphasis away, I should say, on the details, because the reader is not going to be meeting Mr. Jones. So his reader, was it Ms. Graham, doesn't really need all that stuff about how much time he's had off and what he was doing and all this. Needs a little bit, but not that much to do the job. So that aside, though, this is quite good. Quite good. Just a couple of things. Use a conjunction there. 3 months ago. You don't need therefore. Additionally, just simply compliance and soreness. And a genitive possessive there. So apart from that, that's pretty good, I think. Not bad at all.